For this build, I had a completely different mindset in how I put this piece together. Normally I start from the outside and work my way in. This time I started from the inside and worked my way out. This build all began with this. This is the 16-inch Precision Series Line barrel from R&B Tactical Tooling. These barrels are made from 416R stainless steel blanks that sport a button-pulled 5R rifling that provides excellent accuracy for precision shooting. So what is 5R rifling? 5R is an improvement over conventional rifling by changing the shape and the configuration of the lands and grooves. Conventional rifling has sharp 90-degree corners from the top of the land to the bottom of the groove, and the lands and grooves oppose one another. 5R uses 5 lands and grooves over the even numbers, which puts lands opposite of grooves, and the transition from the top of the land to the groove is also sloped. The theory behind this change was to reduce projectile deformation as it passes through the bore. By placing the lands opposite of the grooves, the bullets are no longer squeezed on opposite sides so that the projectile stays uniform instead of squeezing material into the grooves. A more uniform projectile means better accuracy. Not only is this supposed to be an accurate barrel, but a head turner. R&B Tactical Tooling is the first company in the industry to apply this beautiful firearms grade coating to the outside of the barrel. This was the inspiration for the rest of the gun. First thing I picked out was the bolt carrier group. My initial thought was to go with silver, but it seemed to wash out the color on the barrel. The gold seemed to enhance the colors. The gold break was the next choice. Both are from F1 firearms. Next, the ambidextrous charging handle, the Holy, from United Defense. From there, I moved on to the handguard. I wanted to expose as much of the barrel as possible when it was completed, so I chose the 17.5-inch Ragna forend from Odinworks. For the upper, I went with an Aeronox. How could you not love those clean lines? But what works in my head does not easily translate to real life. Combining mil-spec and non-mil-spec parts will need some modifications. So again, I went for my go-to cutting tool kit from R&B Tactical Tooling. I really have gotten my money's worth out of these over the past couple of years. I cut a small block of high-density polyethylene so I could mill the forend to fit over the upper. Once I got that completed and placed the forend over the barrel, the break was not as visible as I pictured it in my head. So I should have probably went with the 15.5-inch forend, but at this point I had already altered the other end. So I improvised and once again used the cutting tool kit to expose the break. I went with a 17 design and manufacturing lower. I used one from my last build and decided to incorporate it into this build. It is made out of 7076 T6 aluminum, comes with an integrated trigger guard, a threaded bolt catch roll pin, and an upper retention screw. I already had a buffer tube that I was going to use, and of course I wanted to use an H3 5.6 ounce Armor Spec SRS. However, the buffer tube that I had was a bit short. I did have a buffer tube that came with an old Thorson's custom cheek rest. It was long enough, however, it did not have the slot or detent holes. So again, I turned my problem into an opportunity. Let's just say I have had my fair share of doing just that. Now the stock. I already had a Magpul CTR, a Bravo from B5 Systems, an Alpha from Trinity Force, and a Mod 1 from Strike Industries. For looks and feel, the Mod 1 was my choice. I typically prefer the larger cheek rest like the one on the B5, but the Mod 1 was just fine. Looked right and the gun felt well balanced. But me being creative and always looking for something different, I came across Tactical Dynamics Minimalist Stock. This design was fitting for the rest of the build. I saw their grips and they spoke to me as well. But wouldn't you know it? I just received my new rotary tool and it luckily came with an extension making this modification possible. Aesthetically, this stock is very pleasing. Wrapping it with some paracord will give my cheek a tell to get the proper eye relief easily and quickly. I did replace the set screw for a shorter one so that it would sit flush within the stock. The end plate and castle nut I found on Amazon from Outdoor Tactical. It had some small details that I thought worked well with the build. Now, who gives more than 5 seconds of thought on a bolt release? Well, I normally wouldn't, but this time was different. I found an extended oversized bolt release by Wilson Combat. This thing is massive. Now, I was never planning on keeping it as is because the Aeronux upper has a little detail that I didn't want to completely cover up. I got it specifically so that I could shape it to match up with the upper, and it is still bigger than the standard paddle. The takedown pins are by Timber Creek. The ambi mag release is from Arms Unlimited. The extended mag release is from Odinworks as well as the gas block. Now, I've heard of gas blocks with 3, 6, and 8 adjustable settings, but this one has 20. This paired with the SRS will take fine tuning to another level. The trigger is the match drop-in from Elfman Tactical. Scope mount is the ultralight from Aero Precision. Scope is a first focal plane Tango 6 from Sig Sauer. I know this scope well. I used one for about 4 years when I competed in 3-gun matches. I've had this hand stop for well over 6 years. It is made by a company called Narrow. I tried looking for another one, but I can only find images and none for sale. If you can find them, please let me know. The bipod leg set is the MP1 Mod Pod from Voltar Weapon Systems. I've had these for about 10 years. They've had 3 length adjustments and are very, very light. And the magazine is from Lancer. It was Cerakoted by Greg Linville, owner of Coat & Dagger Customs based in the 223 range, Lebanon, Ohio. The main color used was carbon and the accents were gold. So the next step is to get it tuned up, zeroed, and find the right ammo. I'll be back with an update as soon as I get some data. Until next time, thanks for watching, and keep training, and never be afraid to think outside the box.